My thought on the Ravens after getting the signature win over the Chiefs, getting past the Chiefs, the big fourth down play, it reminded me of 2 years ago in Seattle when Lamar said this to the punt team, and then I'm going for it on fourth down. After that, they started kicking the crap out of everybody. So I'm thinking, here it comes, 49-13, 52-10, old school lopsided outcome. And nope, the Lions were ahead, and they had to pull a rabbit out of the hat just to get in range, just to get in position for what Justin Tucker was able to do. 66 yards as time expires with the optical illusion clang off the crossbar. I thought it was coming back out and landing in the field of play. I didn't think it was going through. The moment it hit the crossbar, I thought, well, nice try. He hit it, and I'm thinking, it's good, and you're watching it fly, and there it is, and it hits, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, what happened to the ball? It's like it hit the net. Holy crap. Unbelievable moment.
We saw two incredible moments. We saw a 66-yard kick and a 109-yard return on a missed field goal that we'll get to. This was amazing. And you know what I loved? There was a little thing I loved about this with Justin Tucker. We know what kind of kicker he is anyway. We know he has a big leg. They were in that position with 7 seconds to go. They had a play there that got them there to that line of scrimmage with 7 seconds to go. And Justin Tucker just started running out on the field. And they pulled him back because they tried one more play. They tried to get a little closer, and it turned out to be an incomplete pass. And then there were 3 seconds to go, and he kicked it. But I loved this guy's confidence. They got to a spot, killed it 7 seconds ago, and he just started running on the field. It's like, I'm going to go kick this thing. I thought that was a coolest moment. Like, there was no doubt in his mind that he had the confidence he could make it. And then to watch it. Now, I was on field goal units when I played. I was usually like the right or the left end. So to be out there and to hear the kick, the whole thing you always listen for, you don't want to hear is the double thud, the kick and then it getting blocked. That's the first thing you're worried about when you're on the team blocking. And then you see it go away and you just stand there and you watch. And I was like you, the angle you saw, you're like, okay, if it has the distance, it's going to be good because it is coming right down the middle. Then as soon as you hear the clang, you're like, oh, I didn't even know it hit the net. I thought for sure it wasn't going to be good. And then I saw the refs throw their hands up, and I'm like, oh, my God, you've got to be kidding me. And then on the replay, it was the first time I actually saw it. It careened all the way into the back net. What an incredible moment that has to be. I mean, you did something never done in this sport since the beginning of the sport. I mean, what a fantastic moment for them. And you can't have it in a bigger moment. It's to win the game. It's to, absolutely win the game. And not to, if you miss it, oh, that's okay, we're tied, we'll go to overtime. It's if you miss it, we lose. You make it, we win. I mean, what an incredible moment.
And the poor Lions on the wrong side of history again. Mike Tirico pointed out last night. It was the exact same score, 19-17, when Tom Dempsey hit the 63-yarder against the Lions, kicking for the Saints at the time. And that was the record that stood forever. It got matched. It got beaten by a yard. Now it got beaten by 2 yards, the 66-yarder. And Tucker told me, we got to take this moment in. For those of you listening on Sirius XM or on the podcast, bear with us. This is Dempsey from his own 37. Back in the day, the home game, the crowd goes crazy. He gets it over from 63 yards, and that was the record that stood for decades. And now Justin Tucker has a record that may stand for decades with the 66-yarder. I talked to him after the game. He said in pregame warmups, Mike, he was short from 65 on both ends. And it's still, what are you going to do? It's 66. This is it. This is our only chance. It's not like they're going to throw a Hail Mary. They trust him to go do it. And I asked him how conscious he was of the fact that he was short in pregame warmups. He said, it's kind of in there. But the thing is, it doesn't matter what my feelings are, what my emotions are. In any given moment, I could be feeling so many different things. I could be feeling excited. I could be feeling grateful. I could be feeling confident. I could be feeling nervous or outright scared. I said, so what were you feeling then? He said, all of the above. It was everything. And Drew Brees pointed out that there was a little crow step, like the outfielder who takes the step before making the big throw,
right.
Getting that extra little bit, mustering that extra little bit of leg to hit it just right and send it a little bit farther than he did in pregame warmups.
And you know in that situation, again, as someone on a field goal team, in that situation, you know the rush is going to come up the middle. On closer field goals, where the kicker is going to get the ball higher in the air, like on, 30 or 40-yarder or in, they'll kick it higher. You get the rush mostly from the outside because rush in the middle, it's tougher to block because the ball has a higher launching point. You know with a 66-yard, when you get into the 50s, let alone the 60s, that the ball's got to come out lower or it's not going to get the distance. So normally you're going to see the biggest push right up the middle to try and get your hands up there. So you have that to deal with, obviously. And then knowing it's almost like all of us hack golfers when we go out in a scramble and somebody hits a good tee shot and you just grip it and rip it and you swing too hard and nothing good ever happens. Well, you wonder if kickers, if they have to obviously try and kick a little harder to make a 66-yarder, and if you try and swing your leg a little harder, can you have an awful outcome? And that was obviously a great outcome. You mentioned the previous record. That was Matt Prater, I think in 2013, Denver and Tennessee, when he kicked the 64-yarder. So, but I guess we asked the question, should we be all that surprised? Athletes are bigger, better, and stronger. Now, the Dempsey record stood all the way till 2013, but athletes are just bigger and stronger and faster. So now we have a 66-yarder. And that was from 2013 to 2021. So when will the next attempt be a little further than that? Because most teams, you know this, Mike, most teams don't have a kicker like that. They'd have thrown a Hail Mary in that situation to try to win it that way.
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of guys that you can trust to hit from 65 to 70, or at least to get it reasonably close. Mike,
right.
40 used to be a big deal. 50 used to be a big deal. Now 50 is viewed as reasonably automatic, like nobody worth his salt in the NFL is going to miss consistently from 50 to 55. It becomes more of a challenge when you go from 55 to 65, but Tucker's always been one of the greats in that regard, and he had a game in Detroit 8 years ago where he had a 60-plus yarder for the win, and now he's got the record in Detroit for the win. I think he said after the game that I kind of like Detroit. I may have to get a place here. I don't know that the Lions fans would welcome him. They would welcome him as a member of the team, but not necessarily as a member of the community if he's going to keep kicking for the Ravens. Fortunately, they'll have to play him once every few years. How about Lamar Jackson, though, Mike, with the 4th and 19 clutch throw to Sammy Watkins to even put Justin Tucker in position to make the magic? And Watkins kind of slipped and fell a little bit, or it wouldn't have been a 66-yarder.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, that was obviously a monster play. Nothing happens unless you make that play. Go way back to the 4th and 26 by the Eagles, obviously, some years ago. But again, what a great throw right over the underneath defender, right in front of the over-the-top defender. You find that hole and you drop it in there because Lamar Jackson did not have a great game. I mean, what was he, just barely over 50% completion? It was not too impressive. And early on was not running the ball particularly well either when he tried to do that. So to drop that one in there, and the money time was, again, impressive on the offense, but I guarantee you that defensive meeting room is not going to be too ecstatic today when you go in and you watch that play and you find out, or you look at the reasons why that never should have happened.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.